Hey girlfriends, it's Ashley and Amy here. We hope you're enjoying January so far, and we hope you enjoyed the holidays and were present with your family and friends. So today we're talking about, this is really important to me, is being present with your family and friends, being present with yourself, being present kind of anywhere.
So I am Amy Mathewson.
And I'm Ashley Johnson.
And we are here with Girl Talk.
We want to kind of make a difference in people's lives and make you be the best person you can be and kind of encourage that in your life.
We're just talking about Girl Talk, just our daily life and what we have found works for us.
Yes. And I've learned that a lot the past maybe month or two. So, for 2021, that is my goal pretty much, is to be more present with family and friends. And what do you think about that, Amy?
I love it, because when we were trying to figure out what the topic was that we were going to discuss or talk about, and you mentioned this, I thought, I really have not given thought to being present or being aware in the moment. And so I was just like, yeah, that's a great one. And then as I really started thinking and then researching it and digging into it personally, I was like, wow, thank you, Ashley, because I really needed to read through this. I really needed this for myself. So I really hope this podcast helps somebody else out there too.
Yes.
But if it didn't, it was for me, because I really needed it. It's great. I don't know.
Like I said, it seemed like I didn't realize anything. I didn't think about it either until a month or two ago, when it just kind of hit me. I was too busy with other things and just not focusing on what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So that I was I took a step back from some stuff, and I'm well, that was my issue with a lot of things, a lot of relationships and stuff like that.
So we're just coming off the holidays, right?
Yes.
So I want to jump in real quick and say that the holidays are a very stressful time.
Yeah.
And especially have you ever seen that movie Christmas with the Lampoons or something?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I've never seen that until just a couple weeks ago. I watched it for the first time.
I literally laugh every single time I watch it.
I think my favorite part is when the squirrel is on his back and he goes running up the stairs. I don't know why, I just think that part
He's so funny.
But when I was watching that movie, I thought, why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we have all these family members over into our house and then we aren't enjoying the holiday or having fun? So anyways, and then when we were talking about this topic, I thought, this is so interesting how these all connect. But back to this. When I first got to know my sister-in-law, there is one thing that I really loved from her, from the holidays, that I really learned, and that is she is very present in the moment. So for me, when we're opening up Christmas presents, I'm the one standing there with the trash bag, picking up the wrapping paper, this is getting to be a mess in here. And then when Christmas dinner's done, I'm okay, let's wash these dishes, let's get the kitchen cleaned back up.
Right.
But I loved that my sister-in-law was very much of okay, Christmas dinner's done, just stick the dishes on the counter, let's go back and play, or let's play a family game. And she was very intentional on each person that was there, and not the mess that you would say around the house. And
I love that, yes.
Yeah, and I am not very good at that still to this day, but it's something that I'm very convicted on, that I really want to get better at, because there's always going to be more dishes. And people say that, but to actually put it out of your mind, there's more dishes, no big deal. I am going to be intentional about the time that I go and spend with family.
Well, speaking of that, my mom was that way. This is totally off subject with holidays, but with me and her, our relationship, I mean, one of the reasons why we're so close and we're best friends is because she chose to have that relationship with me and being present with me and talking with me how my day was, and always, it's always about me.
Yeah.
Instead of she goes, my house was never completely clean. She goes, because I always would leave things, because if you came home, I'm talking to you. She goes, I'm
That's
not
amazing.
In general, she was very whatever it was. She goes, well, that can wait, or and that I'm used to that. I'm used to people, so, which is weird, because I'm not like that. I'm okay, well, there's dishes in the sink, I need to worry about that, or there's or it's, I don't know if I'm gonna explain this right, but if I'm ahead of something, like if I'm throwing something or whatever it is, like everything has to go my way, so I'm always worried about like no, like let's put this here, or like no, I'm always worried about that instead of just enjoying the event or whatever it is.
Yes,
because
that's so me.
More than likely nobody cares, like really, like except you. So I mean, that's like, and the definition of being present is the ability to be completely in the moment and flexible enough and handle the unexpected. So instead of worrying about what's going to happen, like if something does go wrong, then okay, that's fine, like, and move on.
And so see, that's very much my sister-in-law's mindset, where I am like, wait, these 5 things could happen, and I need to know how I'm going to handle each one of these. And she's like, if it happens, we'll face it when it happens. And I'm like,
we'll just do whatever it takes to fix it. Yeah. Like being flexible. This is exactly her. Yes. You know, and like another thing is just not wishing you were somewhere else in that moment. So like, you know, yeah, I'm with dinner with you, but I kind of just want to be at home watching Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, just be in that moment. And you don't realize, like, how much you actually, like, you'll learn more being in the present than, like, it's really weird. Like, that's another thing I've learned, like, and how much more fun and happy it is just to be, because you're not worried about anything else. And I'm a worrier, so that's what I mean. Like, I've known that, like, I've been that way my entire life, so I'm trying to like not be that way and be in the present, but it's hard. It takes practice. It's not an easy thing to do.
You're right. It really does take a conscious effort, and it's going to be exhausting. And I am already like excited about it because I really need to be better at it. But even just carrying on a conversation with people, right? You know, my mind is always like, what am I going to say next? What's the next topic we're going to talk about? I don't want it to be awkward and quiet and blah blah blah.
Who cares?
But
I know it's hard though.
That was the thing. It was like, just be present in the moment. Just like completely engage in that exact moment.
Silence is not always a bad thing.
Right.
It's not. I know, but people think it's just an awkward thing. Well, it's like, you don't have to be talking all the time. Like at work, if it's just me and somebody else for like 8 hours straight, I'm like, I feel like I always have to be talking or doing something, or like they're bored or they're annoyed with me or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm like, they probably don't want to talk the entire time, just like I don't want to talk the entire time. But you know what I mean? So it's like, silence is not a bad thing, but it is.
Yeah, and they say your relationships will expand and grow if you're just very present.
Yes.
And I think that's truly being authentic. You're not like worried about what am I going to say next.
Just be you,
Yeah, you're just in the moment, truly yourself, just chatting.
Right.
It's so neat.
Like I said, it's going to take practice.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share this because I think this is cool. I got it from a psychology website, and it says humans cannot multitask.
What?
Like, which people think they can, but they can't. It's like, we are capable of handling a number of serial tasks in rapid succession, or mixing automatic tasks that we are not so automatic. Oh, not that, like, hang on, let me read this again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are capable of handling a number of serial tasks in rapid, like, you know, like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
But mixing, like, automatic tasks, so like things that we're used to doing all the time with those that we're not so used to doing all the time, like we can't mix them. Or something like that. Like texting and driving. So texting and driving is equivalent to drinking and driving.
Yeah.
So you think you're used to texting and you're used to driving, like that's an automatic thing for you, but putting those two together, we can't do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It does. I mean, basically what you're saying is something is not getting your full attention.
Right.
So you're not capable of doing it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So they were saying we cannot effectively attend to 2 things at once. So I know that was probably hard to explain, but like at the end point, like we can't do, like we should be only doing one thing at a time. People think we can do everything at once, but like to be actually present in all those things, we need to do them separately.
Which we've all been behind that person who we know is texting on their phone because they all of a sudden start going 20 miles an hour.
Right. And you're like,
if you would have just driven the speed limit, you would have been there, and then you could have texted them.
Right, exactly. And
so that's frustrating.
And that's the thing with me with texting though, like I have to be like, if I'm on my phone or I'm texting somebody, if somebody's talking to me, I need to be like, hey, I gotta tell somebody to wait. I either gotta stop texting and listen to them, or I gotta, like, if it's my mom, I'd be like, hang on a sec. But, like, people that you don't really know, I'm like, I can't, like, I want to listen to you. So,
and
just
I have
give
to
me,
say,
like, 2 seconds.
Okay, the phone, this is a huge fault of mine, and it's something I need to work on. But especially because I have the Apple Watch. So as soon as I feel that vibrate, it doesn't matter if I'm in a conversation with someone, my brain is like, you better check that watch, you better check that watch.
So then you turn them off, and then...
Yeah, and then you turn them off. Yeah. And we've all been on the other side where someone turns us off, and how do we feel? So all of this is like preaching at myself right now.
No, same.
It's so interesting.
Yes.
And then I did read, too, I read a great article, and it said, like, from the moment we're born, we're taught to, like, focus on our future,
Yes.
Okay? We've got future plans. How can you make your future better? And then we dwell on the past.
That's the one, like, I'm bad at the past. Not the future. I'm terrible at, like, living in the past or always thinking about the past. And I'm like, you can't change it.
But where's the present? You know, like, when are we ever taught to live in that exact moment, live in the present?
There's another thing I read, too, about the present. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so because the present is given to us, our mind perceives that as something not worth dwelling on. So it's not worth thinking about the present because it's simply guaranteed. So we know we're always going to have the present, so we don't actually think about it. But we know we don't have the future yet, and we've had the past, so we're going to be dwelling at the past, but... You know what I mean? So, like, we're always going to have the present.
Right.
So, it's already given to us. There's nothing like it's, you know, the future is not guaranteed.
I feel like
the present is guaranteed.
Good. Like,
isn't that weird? Like, I read that too, and I'm like, I never thought about that. I know it's all, like, kind of, like, a lot, like, complicated. Right. But, like, isn't that weird?
But to be present takes practice.
Yeah.
It takes a conscious effort. And that's why they say it's like, it's exhausting at first. Because you consciously are like, wait a minute, where am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I with? And then it's stopping those thoughts of like, I just said the stupidest thing to that person.
Right.
Like
and
when
then you're
someone
thinking about it all day.
Like someone says good morning and you're like, oh, doing great. Because your brain was like, how are you? And you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh my goodness, that person.
Yeah. Or like when you're in a drive through, you're like, they're like, enjoy. We're like, you too. But you're not enjoying anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like.
But that little stuff, like, just put it out of your mind. Yeah. Like, you're on to the next thing.
It doesn't matter. And they're not going to remember it because they probably get that all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, with the past, like, that's upsetting. Like, I always, like, I'm like, you can't change it. So it's like, I often I feel like I miss the best moments that are like in the present because I don't live in the present. I live in the past.
Okay,
most of the time.
Talking about like the past, I used to overanalyze the past way too much to the point where it's like I would text that person back and be like, I think I said that this way, but I didn't really mean it. Or like, you know, your mind just starts playing all those tricks on you. Right. And then I thought, I cannot do this anymore. Do you know how exhausting that is and how depressing it is? So just to put like a stop to that. And now, even now, when my mind goes back to it, I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to think about that.
Right.
You know, like that person, they'll have to know who I am and they'll know that I didn't mean it that way or this or that, but I'm not thinking about that anymore.
Exactly.
But it takes a conscious effort.
It does. Goodness. And with going back to the Apple Watch thing, sorry, like thoughts keep coming in. I haven't worn mine on purpose for probably, then it would have been 2 weeks probably. So, like, I don't know, like, and I don't have my phone on me, so I have no idea if anybody texts me or anything like that. I have to, like, physically get up and get it. And
do you feel more free?
Yes, like, I feel like I'm not worried about anything. Like, and honestly, like, also, I was always worried about how many calories I was burning. So, like, that was another thing I kept looking at. I'm like, I kept worrying about that. I'm like, that's the least thing. You know, you don't need to worry about that. So, like, that's another thing. And I also have my phone on, like, do not disturb, so it never vibrates or anything. Or I have my phone on, but on do not disturb. So then, like, on my favorites, if any of those people call me or text me, it'll ring. But, like, anybody else, like, I really don't care about. You know what I mean? Not that I do care. But I mean, like,
it's a different job.
Wise,
yeah, it's a different job. Like, obviously, my phone is on for on call.
Yes.
But I really like that.
That's helped me a lot because I'm really bad. Like, so the social media and phones, like, are a big factor for me not being present.
Same here. I mean, how many times do you just pick up your phone and just like, even when you're talking to someone, you're like, oh, what's the time? Or like, did I miss a call? Did I miss a text? Or did I miss something on Facebook? Like, isn't that crazy how much it starts controlling your mind? Which you watched that Social Dilemma, right?
Yes.
Yes. That, I need to go back and watch it again, but it's
creepy. It's scary. And as I said, I find myself being more present because I don't have my watch. I don't have my phone. I don't have, like, I'm doing more things like either for me or, you know, things that need to be done. Like, I don't know, like, if it's not in my hand or if it's unreachable, like, I feel much better. It's weird. It's so weird. And I mean, like, and I always felt like me and Riley had a text 24/7. Like, we just had a text 24/7. And I'm like, we don't. We don't need to. Like, I'm like, so it's been kind of nice that I'm not worried about him texting me or, like, I don't know. And not in a bad way. Just kind of like, I was like, well, why isn't he texting me? You know what I mean? So then my mind would go into this spiral of, like, oh, he doesn't want to talk to me. Like, just in general, like, there's a bunch of situations like that, but like that's another, like, I'm not in the present. I'm just worried about if he's gonna text me or not. You know what I mean? So if I'm with my mom, I'm like, why hasn't Riley texted me yet? Where is he at? What is he doing? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, Yeah. So I'm like, that's a huge factor. It's just my phone.
I love that.
In general.
I need to get better at that.
So
I really do.
Yeah, but it's hard for you because you need your phone.
But I think there's ways I could do it. You know, like there's that's what I need to look into. I need to, from this time on, I'm not. Or, you know, if I'm with family or friends, like I don't have to answer that phone call right away. That's true. Like I need to put some limits on it. So that's really good.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way.
So it's good. I saw someone said to like take a mindful walk.
Yes.
And when I read about that, I thought that would be so hard for me, and I really need to do that because it's like take a walk without your phone, without your distractions, and like look at the nature. Listen to the birds. Your phone
just in case, because
safety. Yes.
You never know, but just don't be on it.
But I mean, for me personally, like to take a walk in the woods, that sounds nice for like maybe 5 minutes. But then after that, like, okay, let's move on. Let's do the next thing.
Well, imagine what people did in the without phones. Like that's what they did. Like, and I was sitting in the doctor's office the other day, or not doctor's office. Where was I at? I was somewhere where people were sitting. I don't remember where we were at, but like everybody was on their phones. I'm just kind of like I wasn't honest. I was just sitting there and I was looking around and I was like, that is so weird.
Isn't it weird?
Because I was always on mine, so I never noticed everybody else doing it. So I was like,
have you seen that thing where like they're in a doctor's office and one person just randomly stands, so then everyone else stands? Like they're on their phone still, and then the one person will sit back down, and then the one person will stand, and everyone stands.
No.
Because they're like, oh, somebody stood, so I guess it's time to stand. Like,
no.
It is so weird.
That is weird.
So weird. And then I also read, too, they said use red lights to your advantage, and I thought that is so good.
Yes, because you always go on your phone when you're on red lights.
Yes, as soon as you hit a red light, you're like, what text message did I miss? What can I catch up on Facebook real quick? But instead, they were like, turn the music off and just sit. And I was like, that's a great idea. They're like, just listen to your breathing, just calm down.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, come on, that light has been red for forever. So, yeah, I thought that was really good.
And like, another thing for me now, like especially with all this happening now and COVID and all that, like people just, not being able to be with their families and stuff, like in the hospital, or people who pass away from it like unexpectedly and all that. And I'm like, well, you don't really know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You don't know. So I'm like, why not enjoy, like I might not be alive tomorrow. I don't know that. I know this is like morbid, but I'm just saying like why we think that, but we don't actually like put it into practice. Like, yeah, I might not have 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but like I have now, so why not enjoy it? Like you said, like listen to the sounds, listen to other people talking, doing all that, like enjoy life in general, because you don't know.
You just reminded me, when my dad was diagnosed with a brain tumor, we kind of knew that he wasn't going to last very long, right? We had no idea it would only be 8 months, but from when he got that diagnosis, we went into we are going to enjoy every single moment that we have.
Right.
And I really think that we've still carried that through. Yeah. Because like our family, we've always been extremely close. I would say we got closer during that time. And then even now, like there's things that we're like, no, we're not going to do that because this is our time to be intentional with the family. Like, we have certain holidays that we always go away, or certain things that we do. And I think it really helped us be a lot more intentional. But it's like you said, we really don't know what time we have left.
Right.
And,
it's like that "Live Like You Were Dying" song, country song. It's like, right when he found out he was sick is when he continued to do it. And I'm like, well, we should learn from that. Like before we are sick, or before anything does happen to us, why not? Same thing with your dad, and same thing with my grandpa. Like we should do that before, like for ourselves, like before anything does happen. Not saying anything's going to happen, but like we don't know. So I'm like, why not enjoy that time?
I think we feel the pressure to keep up with people, and we feel obligated to. I don't mean keep in touch. I just mean like to keep up with the Joneses. Right. And like to put that aside and just be present in the moment.
Right. Exactly.
And I did read several times over, which this is not something that I've like personally struggled with, but that being present in the moment will help you so much with your anxiety. Yeah. Because a lot of your anxiety is stemming from your worry about the future or your concern about the past. Right. And if you're actually just living in the moment, it will help you with those anxious feelings.
Yes, because like I said, I worry all the time. So I'm like, I feel like I'm more exhausted because of that. Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, Anna, it wears you down. I'm like, you're going to age super fast by like stressing about all this stuff. So I'm just like, I know.
I mean, of course we know, but God never gave us those thoughts.
Right.
Like, he didn't give us the thoughts of worry.
Right.
So when you call those thoughts
worry,
into captivity, you know, you're like, no, that thought is not from God.
Right.
So I am going to rebuke that thought and cast it out. Like, it's so powerful.
My grandma was always like, worry is a sin, right? And I'm just like, yeah, but how can you not?
Yeah, how do you not do it?
Because I'm like, she always used to tell me that growing up, because she was like, don't be nervous about the speech. Don't be this, don't be that. She goes, worry. I'm like, okay, like, stop. You know what I mean? I'm like,
but
there's no way I
can't
like,
worry. How can I stop worrying?
Right.
Like, teach me that.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So I'm like, because she never shows any emotion of worry, really, my grandma. So I'm just like, how in the world?
How do you do that? Yeah.
I know. So I'm like, I have a verse written down here, but I don't have it. It's not highlighted on my phone, and I don't know where my phone is.
Do you have it written down?
No, I just have the title.
Just the reference?
Yes.
Oh, I've got my phone right here. I'll look it up.
Because I thought it went really well with this really quick.
What's the reference?
It's Romans 8:37-39.
Let me look it up real quick.
I just saw it, and I was like, oh, yeah, this would go perfect.
Romans 8?
8:37-39.
So it says, no, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am sure that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor rulers, nor present things, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height, nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus our Lord.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I was like, it has like all the things that you could go through, but in the end,
can't separate you from God anyways. I love that.
I'm like, that's why worry? It's just stay. I mean, trust me, I got a lot to work on.
Yeah.
It's not that I worry all the time, but I'm just saying, like, why do we do that?
Yeah.
Because
and then Matthew 6:34 says, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself.
Yeah.
So sufficient for the day is in its own trouble.
It says it right there, but do we listen to it? No.
But I mean, yeah. And then when you look back on it, you're like, I spent 3 days stressing about this one day, and I lost those 3 days of my life.
It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I said, like, being content, thankful, focused, mindful, strong, and prayerful will help us stay in the present.
Yeah. So. I love this. And I know we talked last time about New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
But I definitely need to put this on my like high priority list.
Same.
And I definitely want to be more present in every moment this year. So
and it's gonna take a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work.
Practice,
but I think it'll be worth it at the end.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you guys have about being mindful? Do you have anything like, what are some tips maybe you guys could help us out? How do you stay mindful? How do you stay in the present? How do you enjoy every single moment and not worry about the past or the future? Like, let us know in the comments below, or share it in your stories, like however you listen to us, whether it's on the podcast app or something, but let us know. We would love to hear some more help on this situation. And then until next time, we'll see you later. So I am Amy Mathewson.
And I'm Ashley Johnson.
And we are here with Girl Talk.
We want to kind of make a difference in people's lives and make you be the best person you can be and kind of encourage that in your life.
We're just talking about Girl Talk, just our daily life and what we have found works for us.
Yes.